Hello and welcome to the next episode of the Joe Martin Show. Today I'm here with Armadillo. So can you guys introduce yourselves?
Hi, I'm Armadillo.
And I am Bruce.
So how did you guys start the band?
So to speak on Armadillo was it came from Sycamore. Obviously, this guy right here, my bassist, the guy I love. This guy would kiss him.
That's me.
But what's it called? We were in Sycamore. Eventually, it got to the point where I felt like I needed to just leave out of creative differences. Nothing bad, nothing crazy.
Yeah, we were all crying that day.
Yeah. So
like a breakup.
Yeah. So basically, it was a breakup. It was heart wrenching. In fact, I remember looking at one of the texts, and it was like I got a long ass text from one of them. I was like, dang. I was like holding in tears. I was like, should I leave now? But I was like, I gotta follow through. And then like the minute I left, I started doing my little Armadillo thing and just started going crazy on producing. I will say shout out to Jason Issip. He's also a guy who I guess gave me the push to start it by myself. I was scared to do things by myself. In fact, a lot of the times I felt like a band was like all I could do because of the fact that I wasn't sure of my ability and within myself. So really Armadillo was just a chance on myself.
How scary is that? Because you came from an established band already. Like, I mean, everybody already knew who Sycamore is. Yeah. How scary is it starting a whole brand new project and just starting from scratch again?
Oh man, it was super frightening. Like, especially like, people kind of already take you for one sound, they kind of expect something from you. So for you to just kind of come out and be like, oh, well, here's this other type of things that I think is more me, it could go 50-50. People could just hate it. People could just like it.
Yeah.
And then, just putting yourself out there like that, like now the full focus was on me. And I've always been something sort of like a recluse or like, just something that's kind of like timid. And that was just like super scary, just to have the spotlight on me. So like whenever we do like promos, because all of the promos that I would do, like all the shots, like it was with help with Bruce. And it's just so weird being in front of the camera, like just me, and I'm like here like trying to act. There's like one where I'm taking up the phone, and then like you can tell how awkward I am. I think
it's very different because like when we were in the band together, like it was all of us in front of the camera, so like you could kind of like hide behind someone or like not be the focus, but like now, it's all him.
Yeah, and that's that was the frightening part, I think.
Yeah, I was gonna say like it's also kind of weird because I mean I don't think TikTok existed when Sycamore was like becoming a thing, right? So like now you guys have to be even more in front of the camera compared to back then. Like now it's the thing. Like if you're a band, I mean, you gotta promote yourself out there.
Yeah, and that's like now I haven't jumped to TikTok yet. I know I have to like at some point, and I'm like, man, how should I do it?
Yeah, you gotta be very smart about it because you can't be like, oh, guess the drummer, guess the third.
Yeah, so
no.
It just doesn't work here because it's like, I mean, I my drummer's the computer, so I can't like I guess the drummer, and there's just like a picture of my computer.
I mean, low-key,
that would actually be funny. That would actually be a twist to it.
Yeah,
just guess everything. It's just the computer and all of them.
That'd be so funny.
Yeah. Okay. You know what? That's a good idea.
That's actually something different compared to like.
I thought, I'm pretty twink looking. I was like, I'll probably just do some dances or like whatnot, but we'll see. We'll see what route I'll go with on the TikTok.
Yeah, no, yeah. And, I heard about you guys when I saw that. I was gonna go to the show, but I came very late because downtown, like they closed down the roads after a while.
Yeah,
and so like since they're all one-way roads to get to the Gremlins, it's a little bit tough at times. And I didn't get to see your show. That's why like, I really wanted to talk to you guys. And well, then my producer I'm gonna call him RJ just to make it easier.
I love him.
Yeah,
but he was talking about you guys a lot. I'm like, you know what? I need to check him out. And so far, I mean, I love what I've seen so far. Yeah, and I can't wait to see you guys like fully live at the show.
Thank you. Thank you. Because I think one thing with the tracks that you hear online, it's a whole different experience from like the live, like 100%. Obviously, I'm not a drummer, bassist, or anything like that, so everything on the computer is like it's very I guess robotic. So when we came together to make the live band, obviously like it just brings up so much more life, and then like the fills that Bruce does on bass is like insane. And then obviously shout out to Carlos Cat Bully Club. Love him, gotta love him. He's been such an amazing guy, like in both like also like giving us ideas for how to do the sound and being a great guitarist. Shout out Isaiah. Isaiah's a oh damn. Does he have a handle? Does he have a
I don't know.
I don't think so.
Maybe
Oh,
it's
Isaiah,
just Isaiah.
Isaiah, shout out Isaiah if you ever see this. He's the drummer and he's like
Yeah, he's crazy.
crazy, dude, crazy. And it's like it's so insane to coordinate with like all this talent and bring something that that is in my opinion, like I love my music. I'm proud of my music. I'm proud that I did it. It's my early work. I think it's mediocre, but it's
No,
like,
dude,
but I have to
give
say,
yourself
like,
more credit.
no, like it's good. Like no, like genuinely, like it's good. I bump it. I do bump my music from time to time. Like, but I think it's mediocre in the sense of like it was my first attempt. You know, it's my first production. I think I'm only getting better. Like the new songs that I'll be putting out, I think, like give more range to my skill.
Yeah, and I think like personally, like since I've known you for so long, I see like how you've evolved from like just to, like an indie guitar, just playing and singing, to like now like the song that you showed us the other time that we're gonna play, is like so groovy and bouncy. Like I was like, oh shit, this is great. I loved it. So yeah, but yeah, also that like bringing it to the live like scene, like it's a whole different thing because like everybody, like the drummer, he puts in his like his charm and everything. So like it's gonna be great. Like it's gonna be awesome. Completely different from the studio
stuff.
Yeah. So that's like, I guess that's also the goal. Like if you like my stuff, if you love listening to it, when you hear it live, I think you're gonna love it even more. And if you don't, if you never heard me, if you like you're just finally
So
discovering
say,
me.
for example, there's a new crowd. They're barely getting introduced to yourselves. How would you guys like describe yourselves in terms of the band? Like, how would you describe yourselves, I guess? In terms of sound, image, aesthetic, and all that stuff.
I think it's pretty groovy.
Yeah,
It's super groovy. And I think that's I don't know, to me it's kind of refreshing. I personally, like now I've been loving people, and I've always loved like old R&B, like I'm talking like Marvin Gaye, like Stevie Wonder, and like dude, like the fills, the bass lines, the feeling, the soul that's put into them.
it
like,
just has so much like soul.
Yeah. It's something that I don't think is given enough light. Maybe here specifically, I think here it's like it's a lot of punk or rap or just
Reggaeton.
yeah. So like, and not to downplay any of that because all of it's amazing. Shout out also Inhibition. I love Inhibition. I think those guys are so cool. Shout out Arnold. But you know, I think what I do, I think just kind of it's a different genre, and I think it's not something that's so foreign that people don't enjoy it. It's a good blend of I think my tastes, and I think my tastes are kind of goated sometimes. So yeah.
No, I think that's a good way of keeping people surprised or hooked on, where you're able to like build up something like a little bit off nostalgia, but at the same time innovate and like make it something somewhat different.
Yeah.
And so like, how did you guys like? Okay, so you guys met before, but like, how did you guys get together with the idea of making this new band like together, both of you?
Ooh,
Or like,
okay.
okay, like this is something different. Let's get together and try something different.
Well, I guess it's kind of interesting because like we started together, like me and him. Like we had a little project like when we were like off of high school, but then we kind of like started something else with other friends, but like eventually it started dying down. So me and him were like, okay, like we like had like a little break from like each other and like bands. But eventually like he hit me up. He was like, hey, like I'm doing my own project. Like, do you want to like help me out and doing stuff and everything? So like I was like, okay, yeah, like because I've only been doing like cumbias with my dad.
Yeah,
I help him out. And so like he hit me up and I was like, oh yeah, because like this is my genre mostly. Like I do like cumbias and like I've been like, since my dad, he's doing that his whole life, like that's what I know too.
Yeah.
But like my personal taste, like it's more like R&B, like soul, like and rock and like all that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess that's kind of like how we decided to like, oh, let's give this a shot.
Do you think like your background in cumbias like kind of changed you musically or influenced you musically when it comes to like the R&B? Because now you're not coming to music completely based off R&B, rock and stuff.
Yeah.
You have a different background. Do you think like it actually like influences you and like actually helps you do more creative stuff compared to just the standard stuff?
I think it does, and like I think a lot of people have like pointed that out, that like, oh, you're very like groovy and like very like you put so much like taste into like your playing. And
good question. Am I in the camera too or no? Like, okay, you just speak sure. It's always a paranoid thing.
We have a helper now.
Yeah.
No, but yeah, I think like it does influence me a lot because like I come from like a very Latin sound.
Mhm.
like listening to a lot of like cumbias, bachata, like regional music. So, and I've definitely like intentionally put that into like my playing. Like whenever I was playing with like Sycamore or with Armadillo, like I will like try to like, oh, let me put this like feel here that is kind of like more
That
tropical.
inspired, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, it definitely like changes the way like I play and like come up with like my creative um ideas. Yeah.
Mhm.
He can make anybody dance.
Yeah.
It's so good.
That's perfect because I think after a while, some people like lose the effect of what indie is, and I think indie should be like indie rock, at least in general. It should be able to be making you dance, like at the very
Yeah.
least, do something. Because I've been to some shows, not just locally, but like in other places where there's an indie band playing and no one's really dancing. Everybody's just kind of like stiff. I'm kind of like, come on, like
Yeah.
you guys need to dance. And I think I really enjoyed recently, what I noticed at least, and it could be just a huge bias because of the region I work with, but
Yep.
I think a lot of Latinos have been taking over indie rock specifically, and I'm very excited because they're able to introduce not just like the standard American, like oh you're inspired by the Strokes and all stuff, but they're getting music from like rock en español, so
Yeah.
like Caifanes and a bunch of all these bands.
Maná,
They're able
yeah.
to combine that influence with American indie rock, so it's very cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it definitely is. Shout out to Café Tacuba.
Yeah.
Love Café
Café
Yeah, like
Tacuba
those
is
bands.
goated.
I think one band that's currently doing that is a band called Vortex. They're from Houston and they recently moved to Austin, and they've been combining both of those sounds together, and I love it. It's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so sick. Yeah.
And so I think a lot of bands, even like a lot of bands that come over here to the Valley, they're from California, and they combine both of those sounds together. I
Yeah.
think it's beautiful.
It is so amazing, yeah. And like, yeah, because I think we also like come with a lot of like more American sound. So like, yeah, that's what I meant. Like me intentionally, I put more tropical and Latin feels to the music so that yeah, people can enjoy more and like kind of groove to it a little
Yeah,
bit.
the fact that we're here in the Valley, like we should be getting both sides of the border, like the sounds, and making something
Just
new.
meshing, yeah.
Meshing it,
Yeah.
making something new.
Becoming its own thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I definitely do think that is the case. I think a lot of it, like you said, it's like a lot of Latinos and it's definitely drawing inspiration from both sides. And yeah, it's leading to some really like crazy work, I think.
I'm surprised no one has incorporated bilingual singing into their songs yet. I
I've
haven't seen
been-
that many people do that.
I think I've been telling you,
Yeah,
but like I don't.
definitely.
We have to find a way to like make it work or something satisfying for us. I guess.
Yeah, because like I guess like for me in my case as well, like sometimes I don't want to. Not that I don't want to do it because sometimes I think like doing it feels a little bit like it undermines it.
Oh.
You know, like I feel like if I were to just like throw in a Spanish verse, it'd be like, oh, he's just kind of like showing his like,
Yeah.
oh, like we get it, you can talk Spanish, bro.
It has to be
Like-
very purposeful. Like there's a meaning to it. Yeah.
yeah, so like it's always like trying to find like a way to incorporate it in a way that I think feels
It's
truthful to
genuine,
me. Yeah,
yeah.
genuine to me, authentic. Because yeah, I think oftentimes like people will kind of reach like and just throw in a Spanish word to
Yeah.
be like, yeah, soy Latino, dije así.
Yeah.
You know,
be
and
careful with
it's
that.
like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you know, so definitely don't just want to like hop on the high horse because I can,
Mm-hmm.
but I want to do it because it means a lot to me.
Mm-hmm. And so, like, where do you guys want to go from this? I mean, you guys already started off doing some shows. Where do you guys want to take this project to? What's the goal?
To the moon, man. To the
Yeah.
moon. Honestly, like I think I've been wanting to share. Well, I think I've shared this dream with Brian that like
Yeah.
I think we're so like I think we have a lot. I think we have a lot going. Like not to like tout our own horn and be cocky or anything because it's not like that. But I have to acknowledge that I have a talent, I have a skill, and then we have a vision. And you know, us doing shows, us doing all the production, us doing everything. Like, you know, I think a lot of people who make music, like kind of gets, I guess maybe a little lost. I think TikTok and all of this definitely like
Oh yeah.
plays into that thing where
Yeah.
like quick success, quick this. And sometimes, you know, you see bands where like they put out an EP, they put out a song, doesn't do good, they never made anything again, you know? They just gave up there. And I think a lot of those people just thought that if they put out one good song, that would take them
Yeah,
everywhere.
they'll make it. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I think, I mean, a lot of artists know, but I don't think a lot of people actually take into account that it takes a lot of persistence. And for me and Brian to keep on persisting, I think that only speaks volumes to to how strong our resolve is for music.
We've definitely had our like downs and falls. Yeah. Like yeah, we're human, so like sometimes, or me personally at least, I'm like, damn, like is this really like what I want to do and like because eventually like obviously I want to have family and everything, and I want to support like my girlfriend right now, and eventually my wife and my family.
Dang. I'm the wife.
The press. No, but yeah, like obviously, like I want like a good base and something that's gonna provide me and my future family a life. So
Yeah.
like sometimes I'm like, this is not really like how he's saying like we throw out like music and we're playing shows, but it's not really, or like at least in the short term, it's not like having too much potential. So like I do get scared. I'm like, maybe I should just go back to school or like
Yeah, because
get a good job.
being in the creative world, it's very much a leap of faith. There's no like if you're gonna become a doctor, you could just go to medical school.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right.
Get all that stuff. There's a path with music and all that stuff. Like,
There's no
and
guarantee.
even if you make it, there's a chance that something might happen and then like, everything
Yeah.
goes to it.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, there's a reason why the word one hit wonder exists. 200 wonders.
yeah.
yeah.
So even if you make it, I mean, it's a leap of faith.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But if you guys do make it and stay consistent, then I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's like something that I know because I just recently came out of like a super like depressive episode out of like all this Armadillo stuff. Like it honestly just started like since like December, right? Like not too
yeah.
long ago. Like it started doing this push of like making shows and whatnot. I was working like an 8 to 5 at Spectrum. It was like retention. Like it was so
Shout out
bad.
to
how
Spectrum,
is
though.
that? That's
Shout out.
awful. Because
Dude,
anytime I hear people
terrible.
working at call centers, it's always like the worst thing ever.
Dude, so
Wow,
bad.
for us?
Yeah,
I haven't, but like I feel like it's so chill. You're just sitting
No,
there.
bro,
Like,
No,
Don't
you
go.
have all the angriest customers going towards you.
That is true. Yeah.
I had
Yeah.
to tell a woman that her she found out her son was gay through me. It was
what?
it was so bad. It was
Wait,
so,
wait.
it was so bad. Okay, so right. So my retention, it's like people are usually calling in to cancel because they have high bills or whatever the hell. And this lady comes in, she's like, ¿Por qué tengo un bill de 400? ¿Qué está pasando?
Oh,
And I was like, let me just like go check it. Let me see what's going on. Blah, blah, blah. I look at the account. There was like a bunch of purchases for like porn, like, and they were like guy, like maricon, like, and like so bad, like, and I was like, oh, I was like, man, what there's.
You
I was like,
you could have lied.
Yeah, no, I can't.
Yeah.
I was like, alguien estaba comprando unas películas de adultos, and then she's like, ¿qué? ¿Cómo que? ¿Qué? And then I'm like, see, and then I just hear her yell for her son,
oh no.
Oh my god.
and then she's like, ¿Cómo se llaman las películas? ¿Qué son?
Oh.
And dude, I had to say like some of the
names.
some of the
Oh, my
names, and it was so bad. And then she just like, I heard the guy say like the son come on, and he's like, ¿Qué mamá? ¿Qué pasó? ¿Qué? And then I just heard her scream like crazy, and then I heard him yell, and the phone just hung up.
Oh my
was
god.
like,
That's.
And so, what's the protocol for you guys when that happens? Like, you can't refund them. I mean, they did purchase it. But
Yeah, we can't refund it. Yeah. So that's I wonder what his punishment was.
Right.
I can't.
Well,
Like,
hopefully, like they're okay now because
Yeah.
like, that's just
Yeah.
something like.
hopefully she was accepting.
Yeah.
Maybe just mad about
Because
the money.
obviously
yeah,
in the
'cause, I mean,
moment.
it was what, $400 rate or
Yeah.
how much?
That's
Yeah,
crazy.
that's-
So I was like, dang, dude.
I mean, shame on the guy because like, what would you not like use
I thought,
your
dude,
friends?
I thought
Your
you-
friends.
Do you know there's free stuff out there?
Yeah, I was like, you have a
Yeah.
phone. Like,
Yeah, true.
How do
too.
you, like-
I guess
I
he
don't
wanted the
know.
good stuff.
Yeah, he wanted like chill back on TV, be like,
Yeah.
yeah,
That's funny.
Yeah,
so
that's
funny.
crazy.
yeah,
No, yeah,
that's crazy.
Because I had a friend who worked at a bank and it was a call center in Harlingen, and it's always the worst things ever. And I'm just kind of like,
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm sure you get all the like the tea and all the stories. So
yeah.
on the bright side, like you got like at
You
the
get- you
parties
still-
you're the
you get these the lore.
yeah
yeah, and I guess to circle back, yeah, like every day was like kind of getting berated by like customers and whatnot, and like it's not only that, but I was working with like a lot of the people there were like older. Like I think I was the only 20-year-old. Everybody was like above 30, above 40, and you know, talking to a lot of these people were like, "Oh, this is it. This is my end job. Like,
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm gonna
yeah.
support my family for the rest of my life with this."
I mean yeah
And I was like that's cool, but I don't want this to be my end job. You know, like this is where I realized like I'm a musician. I'll always be a musician. Music
Yeah.
will always be my thing. So I should take the leap of faith and quit and then just go crazy on music. So
No, yeah, I had that same experience when I was working at Home Depot.
hey,
A lot of the-
shout out Home Depot.
a lot of the older people are like, oh man, like I had all these back surgeries, knee surgeries, hip surgeries, and like they're gonna work there for the rest of their lives. And I'm just kind of like, oh fuck, like that's literally a glimpse to your future. Like if you stay there, like that's how you're gonna end up.
Yeah. It's a scary, it's a scary view.
I don't want this.
It's a super scary view. So yeah, so I was like, that shouldn't be my case. That's not where it ends. So I thought I make solid music. I could improve, and it could honestly, like I can see myself going pretty far, and I want to take my friends with it.
Yeah, I'm really glad like we're together, because like we kind of push each other to be like, okay, like we have this dream and we want it to become true. So like,
very true.
Because I think alone I wouldn't like really be here.
Yeah, there is no such thing as a lone wolf in this industry. For the longest time, I thought like, oh, maybe there's people that like, no, like they always have teams. Even if you have like a person who's acting as the front or the face of the company or anything like that, they always have like people behind them doing the jobs.
Definitely.
Yeah. There's always like another force in the background or something.
No, yeah, and then a lot of this industry is connections based. It's who you know.
Yeah,
I know people wish they were like, oh, it's just talent based, but no, it's about who you know.
Yeah, I really believed that before. I was like, no, I'm very talented. I can get anywhere, but like now that I'm here, I'm like, oh, it's not gonna work out like that.
Yeah, it's kind of tough. It's kind of tough for sure. I think also like for me, like that aspect is tough in itself. Since I think again, like I'm very reclusive. I don't ever really go out too much. I kind of just like stick to my room, just kind of do whatever.
You have to be very careful with that because, and I've seen this before with other artists, you have to be very careful with you being reclusive because some people are going to start thinking that maybe you think you're better than them. Like, oh, he never talks to us.
Yeah, I know. And
you have to be very careful.
And that's the thing. Like I've realized that like there needs to be a balance for sure. And so it's always like a struggle to kind of work up and go up to people and be like, oh my God, I make music. Like, check me out. Like, blah, blah, blah. You know, it always feels like I'm selling a piece of myself. I mean, you are selling yourself, but like, it's tough, I think, but yeah, you're right. Network, it's really what I'm trying to say here.
Yeah, I think that's like the good thing that we took out from like being in the band together. Like, because I am like kind of shy too, or just like quiet. I'm reserved.
Yeah.
So like being in like that scene and like being with like a bunch of people, like sharing like our music taste is like helps you like out to be like more social.
Be more social. Yeah. No, yeah, that's why I like to hang out with bigger crowds because then you don't need to speak as much.
Yeah,
you can let other people talk, and then like you'll like jump in once in a while.
Yeah, and they're like, "Oh, that guy was cool. He said a joke."
Yeah,
I think that's mostly my interactions. Looking, oh, Bruce,
all they remember. Like, okay, you're cool.
Yeah.
But like once you start getting more involved, it's kind of like, like I have to talk with everybody because then you can't be a promoter and not talk with the bands.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah.
Like, who the fuck is this guy?
You're so right, and I think like really like in anything in this scene, like you just need to talk to people.
Yeah,
it's just the plain truth about it.
But I mean, it's not all bad. I mean, I think most people are nice. So
I
haven't had completely bad experiences with the scene. It's mostly just online where once in a while you see like stuff go on. I'm just kind of like, oh, here we go again. But for the most part, it's been a positive experience.
Yeah, and
I mean, I think I would be very lost without the scene actually.
Yeah, definitely true that. I think if we didn't have like venues to play at, I don't know what the hell we'd be doing, to be honest. Yeah.
And so like when it comes to like besides the band, like what else do you guys do for fun? Like what do you guys like do just to relax? Because I couldn't imagine you being completely focused on music all the time. I imagine there's other stuff you guys like to do that's fun.
Yeah, I mean me like I recently moved out of my parents, so like I'm kind of like trying to adjust to that life, like living with my girlfriend. So like and working so that I can pay my bills. So it's kind of like it's been a transition because before, I was like all music. I was like in the studio, like playing my guitar or like doing something on the computer. Even like I was just, like searching other creative ways to like open my creative mind, doing like photo editing and like taking videos and stuff. But now I'm trying to like find like that schedule again to like be more creative again. But that's like if it was me, like I will be more like outdoors, like doing stuff to be more creative, I guess. But right now I'm like trying to find that time.
Balance,
Yeah.
Dang.
So it's tough. It's tough.
I got a lot of time.
Sorry.
No, you're good.
You touched the spot.
I got a lot of time right now. Like as I stated off camera, I think I'm unemployed. So unemployment's been paying me. Shout out unemployment guys. Anybody apply? You never know if you'll get it.
So jealous.
And it's sure, even if it's for a little bit, you can't compare time to money. So what's it called? I used to be a big gamer. In fact, I think my bio says Armadillo the gamer. Like I think I'm a pretty big nerd on like a lot of. Is that where the
name came from, or
no? Oh, okay. I'll get to the name in a bit because the name's a little funny. But used to game a lot, but then I was like, I feel like I'm really good at gaming. I gotta stop gaming. I gotta do something else. So
wait, wouldn't it be like you're so good at gaming that you should do that for
a living?
Become a streamer.
No, I was like, you know what? I need to pick up my other skills. So I started motorcycling. Motorcycling was fun. And then after motorcycling, I started trying to draw like perspective. I don't have imaginary for like drawing, but like I was like, I want to draw like shit that I see. Yeah. Sometimes I'm just like, I'm trying to read, but that's hard. That's really hard.
Okay.
It's really hard to read.
No, yeah, it is.
Right? I feel like I go through a page and I'm like, what the fuck?
You just get lost, like, what?
I gotta go back. I gotta go back a chapter. So that for sure. And really just like, I guess making beats is always pretty fun for me. So I mean, sure, it's still work, but I mean, it's just so fun for me.
Yeah, you enjoy it.
Yeah, it's still something that is enjoyable to me.
So like, how do you find inspiration like for your music and your writing and all those beats and everything? Like, how do you guys like find inspiration?
So the way I find inspiration, sometimes I start off with like a sound, whether it's like a kick, a snare, a synth, a chord or something, and maybe I think the most cliche thing, like it invokes a feeling out of you, and I try to build off of that feeling or that chord or that specific thing. A lot of the things I've done that I've noticed within myself, if anybody takes like a closer look into my production, a lot of them are the same chords. Like it doesn't move. Like it's just 4 chords or it's 3 chords. But
yeah, I think there's been many times I'm like, oh, that's like that other song. And it's like, oh yeah.
And it's even like in the same key.
Yeah, sometimes, yeah.
And I think to me the fun part about it is I think in my life I always think that everything I do feels like so cyclical,
That's a big word.
Yeah, it kind of is.
You took it from all that reading that you've done.
From the readings, yeah, it's other readings.
He's taking out the thesaurus.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of what I do is cyclical, and a lot of the feelings that I feel like it's in repetition. So, and a lot of the times, a lot of the chord progressions I make, it speaks to that. The latest song that I've made, which by the way comes out on the 20th, same as the show. Why not? It's pretty fun. It's 3 chords. The whole fucking song. It's 3 chords. But the thing is, what I find so enjoyable about it is finding out how to change it within, like, even though it's 3 chords, you can hear how differently it sounds in each section.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of the magic. It's like, because at this point, there's only 7 notes in music. I think a lot of people have done.
Yeah.
A lot of people, technically,
there's
right?
More.
There's more, but like the basic, the fundamentals, like
definitely.
A lot of people have done a lot of things with it, and it's kind of hard to think outside that box sometimes.
Yeah,
right?
it is.
Not to say you shouldn't innovate, but it's just hard sometimes. But I think my way of innovation is trying to make a formula different than others. So even though it's just 3 chords, it's exciting to find out how it could modulate into different
Have you had
things.
experiences where you're making a song and rather than it sounding like something you already done, it sounds like another band's song and you're kind of like, oh fuck.
Oh,
you know
I
what?
had to change this up.
Yeah, it happens. Sometimes it happens. And I'm like, damn, I was like, that's such a great idea. I was like, fuck. I was like, I should have wrote that song.
Yeah,
But,
I think even me, like, I remember I came up with something like to the band, and like I was playing it and I was like, hey, it sounds good. And I think I knew like this kind of sounds like something else, or like I'm just gonna go with it.
Yeah.
And like I think we were even like in the middle of like writing it, but like then our drummer, he was like, oh yeah, it's like exactly like that other song. And I was like, oh shit, yeah, it is. So like we ended up just dropping it. I was like,
yeah, but I think now, like, it used to be where I would scrap the entire project as soon as I thought it sounded like something else. But now I have to realize that, like, even though, yeah, like, I think unconsciously we all grab from something. We're all inspired by something. So eventually, if you heard a melody in your head, you're probably going to replay it at some point.
Yeah, because there's a word for it. I forgot what it's called. I'm not sure it's called lateral thinking, or I don't know what it is, where it also happens in the comedy scene where a comedian comes up with a joke because you see the similar situations. Like if you see like a tragedy happen, or like let's see something happens in the world news, whatever.
Yeah.
Someone's gonna have like the same kind of joke as somebody else.
Yeah.
And so people are gonna get accused of like stealing jokes, even though people had the same thoughts.
Yeah.
So same thing with music.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, like I think we're all in the same culture. We're all in the same like state, in the same country. Of course, we're gonna have the same like. It's not so hard to believe that I'm gonna have the same influences as other people. Like me and Brian obviously have like a lot of similar interests.
Especially with the genre limitations.
Yeah, exactly. And I think the main thing that you gotta like realize sometimes is like, obviously I'm not saying like don't copy the song completely, but like if you realize that you are doing something that sounds like something, I don't know, I always think like figure out why that spoke to you and what you have to add to that or what you want to say about that specific idea.
Like Greta Van Fleet.
Yeah. So
that was tough. Yeah, you heard of them, right, or no?
No, I haven't.
Oh, so Greta Van Fleet, they're basically called like a copycat of Led Zeppelin.
Oh, really?
Like if you listen to the music exactly like it's.
Oh, really?
Oh, wow.
Oh, I never heard of them.
Damn, that's crazy.
I'll show you them like afterwards.
Yeah,
like,
yeah, because I do like Led Zeppelin. They're crazy.
Shout out Led Zeppelin.
But you know what? I'll play the music. I don't care if they copyright me. But they purposely said that they were like trying to copy Led Zeppelin.
Oh, okay.
That's just crazy. Yeah, that's just like, okay.
But they was like, oh no, we're trying to.
All right, you can't just say that and then just.
But yeah, they came out of Michigan like at least like I think almost like 10 years ago already. But they got pretty popular.
Dang.
And everybody keeps saying like, "Oh, you guys sound like Led Zeppelin." So
they're like, yeah, that's the point.
they're like their biggest song.
That's what we were saying.
Oh yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah, that's
even the voice.
Wow.
Yeah, that's Led Zeppelin.
And so like they made a whole career off of that. I mean, props for them. I mean,
yeah, I mean, if it worked, why would you change
obviously
it?
people like it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dang.
And I mean, also with that, like they're trying to like imitate or like just getting influence from like an older band. I think if they were like doing like a current band, it will be more like, more shady, I guess.
Because there's a lot of young people that might not be like familiar with the Led Zeppelin, for example. So for them, it's like something brand new.
Yeah, and they're doing it like in this era, kind
of.
Yeah. So I guess I don't know. I don't think it's that bad.
Yeah, I guess it puts people on. Like if a person hears that and they want to know where it comes from, they'll find out. You know.
Yeah, I mean, eventually someone's have to copy somebody just because of the chord. There's only so many chords.
Yeah.
So many stuff. I mean, it just.
Yeah. But
so how do you like in your ways? Like you mentioned that you come to terms with it's sounding like somebody else's song. How do you innovate on top of that?
I think the way that I innovate on that, maybe not in sound, but I think I'm also very lyrical. I love lyrics. Lyric is something that I kind of dwell over and mull over a lot. And to me, like, I mean, the reason why I started making music to begin with is, you know, I think as many people do, is it's because of trying to express something that you couldn't, you know, trying to feel something. So sometimes I'm able to say something that feels special to me, that feels unique to me, and I'm able to add that onto it. And that's how it starts. Like maybe a chord progression sounds exactly the same, but now I'm singing a different lyric and that lyric is a different melody. And now it starts to deviate into something that is my own. You know, like if you realize that it is something similar, you can change it. You could, you know, you don't have to, just because you realize it sounds like a song, you're not making that song. Maybe you just took something from it, but you know, you can craft that into something that is unique to you. So to me, I always start with what's going on in my world. You know, what did I just go through, a heartbreak or whatever the fuck, and I just channel it into that.
Out of curiosity, and I know this is gonna sound kind of weird, do you guys like purposely look for like bad relationships just so you can have something to talk about? Because I mean, a lot of songs are written by heartbreaks. I mean, I think there's more heartbreak songs than more love songs. Do you guys like purposely like, you know what? I know this is gonna go bad for me, but it might make for a good song.
Yeah, I do know that I did. I mean, yeah, I remember like I was like, okay, I want to write this song, so like I tried to remember like how I felt during like a relationship, and like I kind of like, and I think it was like one of like my best, because I don't write a lot either. Like I'm not that great at lyrics, but like I just like sat down and I was like, okay, let me write this, and I was trying to like remember how I felt and like what I went through, and even these guys, they told me like, oh, it's good, like it's good. And
it was pretty good.
Yeah, they've been telling me wrong? They've been telling me to release it, but I'm like, oh, I don't know, because like now.
What makes you hesitant about it?
Huh?
What makes you hesitant about it?
Well, yeah, I was literally gonna say like I just don't feel that anymore. I guess I just needed to like put it out of me, like kind of like release it from like yeah. So like now I'm like when I'm singing, like even they tell me like, oh, sing it, let's play it. I'm like, I don't really like that's
you
my
don't associate
past.
with it
Yeah,
anymore. Yeah,
like it doesn't fulfill me anymore. So, but I mean, I don't know. Maybe eventually you'll hear it on the radio.
Yeah, I don't look for them for sure. I definitely try to make my relationships last as long as they can. But when something bad does happen, I welcome it. Like I'll wallow in that. Something I do a lot. I journal a lot, so I make sure I never forget the feeling. So in some what form or manner, it's there, and I could always draw from it in some way.
I'm starting to notice that where some of the people I like in terms of their songs, a lot of them do journals now, and I think it really it helps your writing because there are certain bands that I love their music, like the instrumentals, but sometimes people need works on their lyrics, and I'm just kind of like,
yeah, I'm more of a music guy, so like lyrics, like they don't really reach me as much. I guess that's why, like, yeah, I mostly focus on the music.
What speaks to you when it comes to like the instruments? Like, what really makes you like enjoy it? And I gotta do this.
Well, it's like a combination of everything, really. Like whatever, like the music sounds like and makes you feel, like whatever the music makes you feel. That's like what I like lean towards. It could be like a melody, like going like up the scale, something like happy, more like cheerful, but yeah, it's not like one thing that like calls me out, It's like mostly the whole song.
I remember, and I'll never forget this. I always say this all the time. I remember when we were high and we listened to Marvin Gaye's album for the first time. Dude, Marvin Gaye high for the first time. Like I think
there's no other experience. Like we can't recreate.
It was so crazy, and like it was musically like the way that all the elements like came in.
Yeah, because like we were just sitting there like listening, and like it will start like good. It was like a really nice sound, but then something will come out, and it was like, oh wow, like it will like literally like shock you, like the way like it was composed. I was like, oh my god, this is like the greatest music I've ever heard. Like literally at that moment, I was like, this is the greatest music I've ever heard.
Do you feel like drugs in some kind of way like help you appreciate music in different ways? Because it's not like unknown. Like a lot of musicians, like Jimi Hendrix and others, they're all known for drug use.
Yeah.
Do you think it opens something like different in your mind that makes you appreciate or I guess create music in a different way compared to just being completely sober? Or
well, I think for me it used to, like I remember when I was first starting to like try things out.
Yeah.
Like it would elevate and like show me more things that I wouldn't really listen to when I was sober. But I think now I'm like, it was a phase, I guess. Like now, like I can appreciate more being sober.
Yeah, I think like you never need to have that to experience something more fully. I think in some of the cases where I probably was like high, like stoned or something, like I think at the time, like it's not that it made me appreciate the music more. I think I just kind of like didn't think about anything else. Like I think because for me, like I'm pretty like ADHD, like my brain thinks like everywhere. So sometimes I could be hearing something, but then I just start thinking about something I did today, and I'm like, oh shit. But you know what I mean? But
it
like,
helps you focus.
It makes you focus. Okay.
Yeah, it made me. I wouldn't say it made me focus. I guess it just took away all the externals, and I had nothing else to look at.
That's focusing.
You know what I mean? Yeah,
that's what focusing.
I guess. Yeah, I guess so.
No, I'm just kidding.
But I guess it was more yeah. But I think nowadays, like it's like learning that I didn't need that. Like I have the full capability of just sitting down and listening to a full album, and like
that's kind of what like I meant. Yeah, like because we were young, we were like just distracted with all our stuff, and I guess using like drugs and stuff and alcohol kind of like helps you like filter everything out. And whenever you're listening to music and just in your car listening to music, like it really helps you like concentrate in that, like every element of the composition.
That's very interesting because it reminds me of I'm a big fan of Aerosmith, and what you're saying, like it's very it's the same thing Steven Tyler said, where early on, like when they were younger, like they felt like they needed it, like it made them more creative. But then as like they got older, like, a little bit more mature, they started realizing, like, hey, we actually don't need all this stuff.
Yeah.
And in their case, like it actually made it worse. Where during the '80s, like their guitarist left, and the '80s was like a bad period for Aerosmith. And then like once they got back together, they cleaned up, and then during the '90s, like they exploded again. So like
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking. I'm like, I was wondering like it was the same thing for you guys or not,
Yeah.
because again, people have different experiences in life when it comes to that stuff. So
Yeah, I remember also Red Hot Chili Peppers went through something like that too with their guitarist. Like went through something really, really bad with like drugs.
yeah,
And their singer too. So like even the guitarist had to like leave, take a break because like he was in like pretty bad shape. And during that period, they got another guitarist, and like they were still famous obviously because
yeah.
the Red Hot Chili Peppers. So, but like then the I forgot his name, the guitarist. But like yeah, he was like they said like you have to come back because like you're like a really big important part of the project. So and like he went clean and like they're still touring actually.
No, yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy because we're still getting to see these legends like still perform out there. Like, like
It's so
the biggest
weird.
one is the Rolling Stones. Like they're like almost 80, 90.
Yeah.
I don't know, somewhere there and they're still
Yeah.
performing. So it's crazy.
It's so like yeah, it's so interesting. Like they still like have that passion and everything. So like they still want to show that even like at their older age.
And so besides the fear of like wanting, or not the fear, but like the need for wanting to make it, what else drives you guys to make music?
But really what drives me to make music is just it's really just for me it's personal, right? Like for me it's always the fact that like as a kid I'd always felt that I was like in like family shadow or something like that. Like I never felt like I had a voice to say anything, you know. So for me, like I think that getting big was really just I'm not, I don't think that the fame and like the money, like none of that is like the main goal for me.
You think it's like acknowledgement?
It's what I thought if I ever got like super big, like I'm saying like super big, like I always thought like maybe like, and again this is something personal, like maybe my family could look at me and be like finally proud or something, right?
Yeah.
But on top of that, really,
it makes sense.
yeah.
A lot of stuff that drives us is based on stuff we experience as children.
Yeah,
that we're trying
true.
to address. So like, yeah, I get it.
Yeah, and I mean that's definitely like one of the reasons. I think another reason, it's like, you know, in order for me to keep continuing to put out, I need to have some form of fame and like you know, status in order to get money to keep on doing it consistently.
Yeah.
So I think that's
money's the tough part.
Yeah. So the goal really, like really the goal is just to get to a point where I could just live off of it and be able to express something that you know maybe others can't express. And for me, like and again it might be everybody's influences, but the Strokes, to me the Strokes like spoke so much to me, like in their lyrics, and I was like, damn, like I feel seen. So I was like, maybe I could make somebody feel seen with some of my words.
Yeah, I think for me, like how I was saying with like my dad doing cumbias, like I've just been in the in music my whole life, so that's all I know. Really. Yeah. So
loves
like
the game.
Yeah, I guess like it's just what I know. Like I was destined to be a musician. Like it sounds corny, but like yeah, like
no, it runs through, like if people say like that stuff runs in your family. So
it's like with people that like their parents are doctors, so like they do the same. So like yeah, I feel like for me, but even then like I remember being a kid, like I didn't think of being like a musician, and obviously I was like learning how to play guitar and like music theory, but like until like I was junior, senior, I was like maybe I can live off of music. So like that's when I actually started like going that route. And yeah, it's tough because like a lot of people, I think, and musicians, they like get their passion from like lyrics and like how they feel and like how they like express themselves like lyrically. And like for me it's like, well, I only like music mostly, so like what do I do? Like I don't know how to write a song, so it's kind of tough. Like I'm still trying to find like a way that I can
but you have written a song.
I have
but
written
you
a
keep
song.
yourself limited.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's ways to do it. Like, the biggest example I could think of is Santana.
Yeah.
He's able to express his music emotionally just through pure instrumental without the use of any lyrics.
Yeah, and he's like a very experiential of mine too. Like when I hear like his playing, it's just like, oh wow, like he can really express like anything with his guitar.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm trying to find my way to like into expressing myself with like musically. But obviously I still want to do lyrics because like I know it's like a very powerful form of like expressing yourself. So like yeah, I think eventually like I mean I've been trying to write stuff, but I should like focus more on that, I guess.
I think it's interesting because, like in your case, and a lot of other musicians were like they come from family musicians.
Mm-hmm.
You kind of have three paths. One, you could take up the mantle. You join the same genre, and they'll be like, "Oh, well, yeah, he's the son, so it makes sense that he's doing that music."
Yeah.
Two, you do something completely different. Sometimes, like some people feel like they're going to be in the shadows of their parents, so let's do a different genre.
Yeah.
Or three, you just do something completely different. That way, you don't have to be like in a constant like, "Oh, like let me do something different. Let me do something that's me."
Yeah.
Rather than just doing what's expected of you to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I find it really interesting.
Yeah, I was struggling with that too because, like, obviously, doing cumbias and especially here in the valley, like, it's pretty like easy and like it's guaranteed that you can like have a life.
Yeah.
But I've never. I think I'm just like tired with like hearing cumbias and stuff, so I'm like not really into that anymore. And like either way, like before, like since I was a kid, like I liked other genres more than cumbias. So yeah, I think that's
does your family tease you on that? Like, oh, here comes the rock guy. He comes to the rockero.
Not really, no, because it's mostly just my dad that's like the musician. The rest of my family is like they do other stuff. Well, my sister does music too. She's in the cumbia group too. But yeah, like I've never gotten teased about that either.
No, yeah, cause for a while, like it kind of happened to me. Not really like that part, but it just kind of like, oh, like we're finally gonna have another musician in the family because my grandpa would play a lot of guitar.
Yeah,
and I was gonna pick up piano, but after a while, I kind of like, no.
Oh, what?
Like I love music. I love getting involved with musicians, but like when it came to like getting into an instrument, I was kind of like, no, I don't think this is for me. But I just knew that I had to be involved with something with music, and so I think that's where like interviewing bands came into play, and bands said something like, "Hey, well, why don't you become a promoter?" I'm like,
yeah, that's great. That's amazing. And I've thought of that too, like, cause maybe eventually, what if I like break my finger or something? I can't do music anymore. That's a good like way to go. Like, just still involved in like music and the scene, but like in like more of the business way, I guess.
Yeah, because there's so much that you can do. I mean, you can become a producer, you can have a studio and all that stuff.
Yeah.
There's so many avenues.
Yeah.
And in some ways, like if it ever does get like really bad, like where you really need the money, it's more secure compared to being in the band. No offense to the bands, I'm just saying like it's like that saying where like the people who made the most money when it came to the gold mines were the people selling the shovels because everybody needs the tools. I mean,
true. You're smart. Oh shit.
Yeah.
Maybe I think I'm gonna quit. Quit and run out.
So, I mean, but the fact that you're able to be a producer and a musician at the same time, I'm pretty sure that opens up new avenues where you don't constantly need a studio because that can be expensive at times.
Yeah. I think that's a lot of like hip hop artists do it.
Yeah, and I think well, when we were in Sycamore and we went to Red Barn, dude, that was expensive.
Yeah,
it was hella expensive.
Yes.
And
shout out Red Barn though.
Yeah, shout out Red Barn though.
Yeah.
Hey, like no,
it's part of the business.
We get it, man. We get that you charged us a lot, but actually, it wasn't even a lot.
No, it wasn't
to like what he charged to others. He gave his homie price. So honestly, like super shout out.
It's just the process itself is expensive.
Yeah, and it's like at the time we were all working like a part time job. Like it's like how are we ever gonna like?
I don't even think I was working. I don't even know how. Maybe I was. No, actually,
I think you were doing the dog stuff.
Yeah, I was doing the dogs. Yeah.
And so I think when going back to Armadillo. And when I started making all the music, like I just kept saying, like I am not gonna pay for any of this. Like I'm just gonna do it all on my own. And I'm like, I don't need to go record my drums. My computer's got it. Like
that's the thing with like nowadays, like one can do their own music like themselves with just a computer. It's crazy.
And I think honestly, like I'm proud to consider myself like a producer, a self-produced artist. Because I really don't think there's enough self-produced artists down here. I feel like so many people like need to like go to a studio to do something, and then honestly, the studio work can be a little bit unmotivating at times. Just because again,
what is the process when it comes to like recording music? Because I think most people just know like, oh, well, you think you just play the guitar and that's it.
That's exactly what I thought as a kid. I was like, I made so many songs, and I was like, they're just gonna be out there. Like, they're just gonna, like I just thought they would just be on Spotify, but obviously, like.
You have to do the work.
Yeah, you have to do the work. I went through like so many like shitty like programs like Audacity and whatnot, or like just they weren't shitty, but they weren't for music.
Yeah.
But
what was that? I remember this. It was like a green one and gray. I can't remember it, but I remember that's what I used to do with Blue Mangoes with the drums. Like it sounded shitty. Oh my god.
Yeah. So the process, like at least for me, like in my case, like buy one of these. Buy a little box of Focusrite interface. 2i2. It does wonders. Like it does, and it's not even that expensive.
Yeah, not really.
And really, like I know there's a lot of like techniques, like I'm sure that if some people looked at my recording process, they'd be like, "You're not using a mic. You're not hooking up your amp. You're not doing this. You're not doing that." But you don't have to do all of that as long as it's you. So I just like plug in straight to the DI, and then I just go crazy with just recording it straight to the computer, and then do my processes, and that's it. So really, the main thing you need, interface, get a program like FL, a good one. There's FL, there's Ableton, there's Logic, all that good stuff.
Yeah, you just gotta find your own like
that's all you need.
Workflow.
Workflow.
Yeah,
workflow. Yeah, and that's it. Literally, I think.
Real quick, do y'all need water?
Sure,
I'm
I get
really
water.
parched. I'll be right back. Sorry.
Do you guys have a favorite DAW?
FL, but FL is just the only one I've used, so it's like it has to be my favorite because that's the only one I know. And even then, like I feel like so many people could school me on FL. Do you know Diego Valentino?
Yeah, I heard of him.
Shout out Diego Valentino. He's so good at FL, and like I've seen him work. Even Styron. I could even say like Styron and both Diego. Like
I couldn't imagine going up against him,
dude. Like they just do like quick shortcuts. They do like these crazy like production techniques, and I'm like, dude, like I just drag and like snap onto plays, like that's it. But it's my favorite. It's because I can understand it. So shout out FL.
No, yeah, for me I just used able to keep free with the focus right.
Yeah.
So like when he's at RJ, he tried to get me to the Reaper because he said it's a good free to use one, and I'm like, okay. I told him I downloaded it, but I never installed it.
Yeah, I think Reaper is really good for just like audios, because FL is more like beat producing and stuff.
Yeah,
but yeah, all of them like basically do the same. So like I don't really have a favorite, to be honest, but I do favor FL because that's like what I'm mostly used to.
Yeah. Now, because I was saying that RJ is like a very smart guy. Like anytime we talk, ask him one question.
Dude,
it's
you're gonna get a whole lecture, like a college lecture.
I sometimes feel like I should pay him every time I ask him a question. Because like he gives you so much information. It's crazy,
and it's very useful because one time I was having a problem with this where I would close the laptop, I would open it, it would work, but for whatever reason the mouse wasn't working, and it wasn't the button. I don't know what was going on. And so I'm like, we'll install this program so I could get into your computer. And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
He fixed the problem, but I'm kind of like, I don't want him being
I know.
Styron was like my GPT before GPT. He's so good.
Yeah. How do you know how people get that smart, like when it comes to all that stuff? Because to know like everything about frequencies and like how the walls bounce.
I think you just gotta like be in it, like the whole, like 24/7, because like
too.
Yeah, it's a lot of passion too, and like you gotta be interested in it. Obviously, if you're not like liking it, obviously you're not gonna learn anything.
He's been doing it for like ever.
Yeah,
he's been doing it for. Like,
I think I barely met him like maybe 3-4 years at most.
Yeah, I think
he has beats from like when he was like.
I remember, he was showing us
like.
Because he was showing me stuff like from 2011. I'm kind of like, oh shit.
Yeah, dude. Like,
he's been like, he's like a what do you call it? Like an old wise guy, I guess.
Old wise guy.
Yeah. It's so crazy.
Yeah, he has so much experience, and I'm pretty sure he's gone through all of his own like hardships and learning. But again, like I've seen his YouTube. Shout out to his YouTube.
He has a
YouTube. He has a YouTube where he has like old dubstep beats and everything.
Oh, okay,
dude, it's like crazy. Yeah. He's even, you know what? He even had an old YouTube video, like super old, where he's like reviewing something. I was like, what? This guy was reviewing tech since like before
YouTube.
Yeah, like crazy. Yeah. So honestly, like, dude, he's been doing it for so long.
How long have you guys been doing music?
Well, me mostly my whole life, but like. Officially, I will say like, 2018, 2019, yeah,
right before the pandemic.
Yeah, literally the best time.
Yeah,
great timing.
For me, it was just I think at 16 I started playing guitar. That's when I started posting covers. And then it was the same 2019, 2020.
What drove you into it? Because like him was his family, but like what actually got you into like, okay, I'm gonna get an instrument and actually play this time around?
I think it was just that. I think it was just trying to get feelings out. It just goes back to that. Yeah, I think. Oh, you know what? Actually, I will say my brother, my oldest brother, Mario. I think I was like 10.
Shout out Mario.
Yeah, shout out Mario. Shout out Mario Cedillo. And he had his friend. His name was actually I don't Ralph. That's his name. They would call him Big Roo. Big Roo. And so I remember they were trying to make like music back in 2010, and I remember I saw that as a kid, and I was like, oh dang, I got to do that one day. And then at some point, I just remembered that, and I was like, this is how I should like express my feelings.
That's so funny. Yeah. I
So-
think I remember too, like, because even though like I was like into music with my dad, I remember my older brother too, like he learned guitar and he would play like at church and just sing like at the house. So I remember like, oh, I wanna do the same as you. So I learned guitar too, and like I'm better than him now.
Dang, flex.
That's what happens.
Yeah, that's what's up.
Yeah, but shouts at that. Shouts out to having to post covers though. That was a good
Yeah.
wrenching. I hated posting covers. Because then like I would post a cover and then like I'd have somebody in my class who followed me on Instagram be like, yo, I just saw what you just posted.
How was that? Like, you guys being musicians in high school? Like, do you guys like, did people follow you, or were people in your school aware of it, or no?
They were. I remember like, I mean, we will play like he will bring his guitar, I'll bring mine, and like we will just like during class, you know, like sometimes downtime.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we'll just jam a bit. I remember once in history class with Blaha. Did you have Blaha? Oh no, you didn't.
Never had Blaha.
No, shout out Blaha.
Shout out Blaha.
No, but like I don't know, we were just like doing some like work, I guess, and I took my guitar and I was just playing. Like it was so quiet, and I was just playing Dust in the Wind. I was playing Dust in the Wind, and everybody was like, "Wow," just like relaxing. I was like, "Yeah." I put the mood on.
Did you ever do like a talent show type thing, or no?
No, I think I wanted to at the end of senior year, but I never did.
I did a talent show. In fact, that was my first gig. It was my girlfriend at the time, Gabby. She was in the art club, and the art club did like art walks. So it was there at the incubator.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And so they had like an open mic type of thing, and that was like the first thing that I ever did. And then I got up there and I played like some covers and like old, like super like 14-year-old me songs that I made. And yeah, that was my first experience.
Damn, that's cool. I don't know what got me into all this stuff. I think I did do one performance in middle school.
Oh yeah,
It was very
really?
cringe. Because I'm not exactly like a great singer. I'm not even a singer. I wouldn't even consider myself a singer. But there was this girl. I have never told this story on a podcast, by the way. But you guys will be the first one.
We're the first.
I'm gonna fucking cringe. Me and my friend were trying to impress two girls because they were gonna have a middle school. It's kind of like a prom, but it was for middle school.
Yeah.
And so we had like this brilliant idea of singing. Do you know the song "Lips of an Angel" by Hinder?
Oh yes.
Okay, so this song
Can
is
you
not
do
about
like
a
a-
relationship. It's about being with somebody else. And so we had this big idea because, like, oh my god, it's a good rock song. And so during one of the assemblies, we got up and we actually sang the song to two girls.
Oh,
Asked them to prom, that middle school prom.
Dang, okay.
And as a
You
kid, it was
got it
very
like
cool because
that.
everybody, like, they turned off the lights. Everybody took out their phones and then like, waving the lights.
Oh my god.
And I remember our teachers kind of looking at us like, what the fuck are these guys doing? And it wasn't until like I was in high school where I read the lyrics, and it's about like a guy like calling another girl, thinking about being with her instead of his girlfriend.
Oh.
Damn,
And I'm like,
So you
fuck.
sang that too?
Like, this
The
is
girls
what-
were like, "Are you
Okay,
kidding me?"
let's redo it. We're the two girls.
we're just,
Yeah.
Just sing it right now.
no.
Come on.
No, but it's just kind of like, oh shit, like that was a bad song choice.
Yeah.
And so,
That's
but
so
I
funny.
kind of loved like the idea of performing because then I got into like middle school marching band. I was in marching band for a while. I think you're correct about they even tell us in marching band where if you fuck up a little bit, it's okay because the judges are like they have to focus on an entire marching
Yeah.
band. So as long as you don't make it obvious that you messed up, you'll be fine.
Yeah.
And so it makes it easier compared to just being a soloist.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I did something called All Valley.
Okay.
And in Alt Valley, let's say you're a percussionist. They make you do snare drum, marimba, and timpani.
Mhm.
I was okay at marimba because it's close to piano.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
But timpani and snare drum, ooh. And they put you in a room. The judges can only hear you. They put like blinds.
Oh,
And so they
Oh.
only judge your technique.
Oh
and
yeah, I know that. Yeah.
dang.
It sucked. I was
Yeah.
bad at it.
I remember in orchestra because I was in orchestra playing the double bass.
Mhm.
Yeah, we did that too for a what is it, UIL
Yes, UIO.
Yeah, UIO ensemble, or not ensemble because it was like alone, solo. And yeah, like we went into a room and it was so quiet. Like you see the blinds. It looked like so funny because like you could almost see like the shade of the, and like we were there playing, and it's so like crazy because like it was like 5 bases that we went in all together.
Yeah.
And so one would play and you could hear like where they fuck up and you're like, oh shit, okay, I gotta remember that so I don't fuck up there.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's so tense, like the
you're just by yourself and you like perform.
I had a music theory class, and the music theory class, one of the last things was like you had to sight sing. Yeah, I was.
Oh, are you guys good at that or no? Sightseeing?
Sightseeing? Hell no. I could barely sight read. Dude, it was so bad. And I remember because I had this teacher. He wasn't even like a music teacher. He was a science teacher, Mr. Thompson. Shout out, Mr. Thompson.
Oh, Mr. T.
He was goated. I loved him, Mr. Thompson. I never had him as a teacher, but he would let me skip in his class.
Wow.
He's so cool. And he, for some reason, he was the proctor. And it was just me and him in a practice room, like isolated. And then they just gave me the sheets, and I had to sing in front of him. I was like, what? And I was like, I'm like, damn, no.
What was he a proctor?
Dude, I have no clue. I looked at it and I was like, why? Like, bro,
that's interesting.
I was like, this is so bad. Yeah. I was like, I think I'm an okay singer, but not at that.
Yeah, because I had prior practice with sight singing because my dad will teach me solfege. That's what it's called too.
Really?
Solfege.
That's cool.
But it's like a little different in Spanish, I guess. I'm not gonna get into any details because it's very complicated. But even then, like it's not that easy. You have to like read the notes, the key, and like you gotta like know what to sing and like the rhythm. It's like a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
It's very like it takes a lot of practice.
Yeah. Do you guys do that just to challenge yourselves?
No,
I do it. Yeah, I do it now.
Oh, really?
I do it now for piano. Like I try to like sing along to it too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
what advice would you give people? Like, let's say like they're barely getting to like making a band. What advice would you give them?
Ooh. Just have passion, I guess, and just enjoy like the music and like the practices that you're doing with your buddies.
Yeah, I'd say first of all, find out what motivates you.
Mm-hmm.
That's you need to have a basis. A reason why you're doing it.
You have to have a bassist.
Yeah.
No, okay.
People always struggle finding for bass. It's always the bassist and the drummer where people have a very hard time finding them.
Yeah, it is. I have had trouble with the drummer.
Yeah. I told you.
Yeah, but I need just a bassist too.
Yeah. Either one.
But yeah, definitely get your motivation down for learning like music. I don't know. I think like really like learning music, like that's something that'll I think come naturally to you.
Yeah, you can really like
you go any route.
Yeah,
covers or.
What do you think are the pros and cons between being classically trained, like going through like the traditional methods of being taught versus just like through ear?
You say what are the differences?
The pros and cons, yeah.
Pros and cons.
Maybe limitations, like people who are classically trained, maybe like you know how in music theory there's like certain
rules and
how you should do a chord progression or whatnot. I think in some ways some people could be a little bit too I guess scared of breaking those.
Yeah,
so they kind of stick to it. Meanwhile, obviously by ear people could just like everybody talks about what like Nirvana. He did it all by ear.
Yeah.
So it's I think that's the one pro that by ear people have is that they have limitless creativity. The pro that I think classical people have is how easy they can communicate ideas. I think like now like I started off ear trained, but getting a bit into like I guess learning like the theories and all that, it's been so easy to collaborate with other people, like with Carlos, you know. I gave Carlos like what the key was, what the like and then he just instantly like picked up a solo and everything. And then same with you. I mean, you already know what the keys and whatnot.
Yeah, it's very like easy to collaborate. Yeah, because like you say, you can communicate. You can tell them like, oh, this is the key. Like we modulate whatever and stuff like that. Ear training, you kind of like have to show them in person, like, oh, this is what I play, and then you can come up with whatever. It's kind of like.
Is there always like a aggressive screen on the other side kind of feeling, or no? Where like maybe someone who learned by ear is kind of jealous of the people who got like formally trained versus someone who's formally trained might be a little bit jealous of someone who picked it up by ear.
Usually, the people that are like classically trained are like, no, you gotta learn, you gotta like know this. But I don't know. Like, I don't think they should be like, because everybody like comes up with their own like way to learn. Yeah. So like, I think like me, like I came up like when I was little, I will be very like ear trained. Like I knew like if I heard a song, I could like sing it again or on the piano get it. But so that's kind of like the reason I went into classical, like to like know more like of what I'm doing.
How do you envision that? Because that's the thing I've always been curious about musicians. There's people who can just listen to music and know exactly where to place it on the key. How does it work in your mind? Like how do you visualize that and like, okay, it's this?
It's kind of strange to explain because like I don't really think it's that complex either. It's just like you hear, it's like kind of like speaking. You hear like the word hello, so like you kind of like repeat that. Yeah. And like you can hear in your brain like saying like a phrase like how are you doing? You can hear it.
Yeah, I think, and it's almost also like a little bit of like intuition, I think, in what you want to add. You know, sometimes like you hear something and I don't know. I mean, also I think for me like because I can definitely hear what I want to add on it, but I can't get it on the first try. Yeah, so it's also a lot of trial and error too. It's like it's doing it until you think it feels right. I mean, obviously, I think certain things like scratch a part of your brain, and sometimes you're just kind of looking for that scratch when you're playing something.
I guess I'm pretty sure like people who are not musicians, like they kind of wonder about that. Like, how do you do that?
Yeah, yes. I don't think there's like really ways. Just like trial and error. Yeah. Until like you learn like, oh, this is the.
I am jealous of like the super pitch perfect people. Yeah. I'm like, damn, how the.
Charlie Puth.
I know Charlie Puth.
Yeah.
You ever seen her like they like ring like a little like a wine glass and he's like, oh, that's a A-sharp.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, but that's like it could be trained, but like most people, I think they're born with that.
Yeah, genetics. Some people are born with it, but some people are just really good at it because of training.
Yeah, because like me, I think I'm like kind of in between. I can hear like something. I can name it like him, like oh, it's but like I can play like I hear it and I'm like, oh, okay, it could be here, and I play it. And like if I'm wrong, I just like know that okay, I was too high or too low.
I think you're like at a 70% hit rate.
And I mean that's what I'm saying. Like people can learn that. So yeah, with people that are like kind of like they can kind of hear it, like they could get to that level, I guess. But yeah, it's just training.
I find it fascinating. That's why I'm just like the translation of just hearing sounds and convert it into a different sound. I find that very interesting.
Yeah, it's very cool. Like,
and when it comes to like recording music, another preference I always hear people talk about is like directly to the computer or versus like miking up an amp. Because some people like the traditional methods of recording versus just using computers.
You see, I think because I do record a lot into, like, I just think you can't limit yourself to that. Like, truly, if I could, I would love to just hook up my amp and like, you know, have a whole setup. But dude, like the microphones are expensive. To be able to sound treat your room, to even get that like a clear sound, and then like
I seen how much RJ spent.
Yeah,
and I'm just like, what?
So it's like yes, I would love to in a perfect world, but I can't. So I had to make do with what I have, and that's going straight into interface. And like really. Like people will say, "Oh, but you lose your character, you lose like whatever."
Do you actually? Because can people actually test each other, or like
no,
you can get like similar settings?
I don't think you can. Like people, it's the same with people who like argue like
the vinyl stuff,
different vinyls or different woods of guitars really change. Like yes, you can hear some differences, but it's not like night or day. Like it's not gonna make or break a record. It's not gonna like whatever.
Yeah,
you know, I think like you would have to actively A or B both sounds to be able to tell the difference. Like if I were to tell you, oh, all of that was recorded on like it was mic'd up, people probably wouldn't have questioned it, you know. So really I always just say like just work with what you got. If you can't mic it up, go straight into DI, you know, because if you don't do one or the other, then you'll just never make a song.
No, that's true. No, I was just curious like if there actually is a difference or not, but
yes, I mean there's a difference, right? But I just don't think it's really something you should.
Because I'm pretty sure it's more expensive. Because, I mean, because if it's more expensive, I mean, it's kind of like
yeah, you can't like,
and most of us are broke, so
yeah.
Has there been any attempt into closing that gap where like people that you like rent, like you know how there's libraries where they rent out books? Is there anything similar to that like here in the Valley where like you can rent out guitars, instruments, amps, just so people can like, expand their sounds?
I don't know
think
if
so.
maybe Guitar Center. Do you think they rent?
I would assume guitars, but
Yeah,
everything else, no.
yeah. I don't think there's really, because I've heard of like places where they rent like video stuff, like cameras and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, guitars and
Yeah.
instruments. I don't know.
I don't think we have enough like music resources like
Yeah.
that here, to be honest. I think it's really just like you go to Guitar Center and you get a guitar class or a drum class, like, and that's it. But yeah, I don't think you get anywhere further than that. I wish. There's a lot of like just recently I bought a synth, an analog synth. That's one thing that I wanted over digital. Just because it's something I could tweak on the fly.
Yeah.
And man, there's so many like synths that I would love to play, but I would never be able to play because they're like 2,000, 3,000.
I remember going to a Guitar Center. We will always go and just like mess with like the synths and stuff.
Yeah.
And like we're like one day.
It was a big dude. I bought the synth. It was a big dream for all of us, dude. Like,
yeah,
we've always talked about getting a synth. We were like, a synth's gonna change the game.
Yeah.
A synth's gonna be
Why do
different.
you have that feeling like the synth would like change everything for you guys?
It changed so much. It's just one. It's a whole different approach to making music. Two, it's a whole different like timbre of sounds, and it's more full. I think
and more convenient too.
More convenient,
yeah. Because like mostly for a live, I guess scenario like.
We used to hook it up.
Yeah, I used to like when we would play live. I had to like get the MIDI controller, and then connect that to the computer, and then the computer to the speaker. So it was like a lot. And whenever we would go to like do like a sound check or whatever, I had to like, okay, I need to connect it here to the sound guy. I was like, can you? And it was like a whole thing. So like an analog will be like so much easier. Just like, and that's it. You're good.
Yeah.
Damn.
Shout out the Mini Freak.
And what other stuff you guys want to accomplish? Like you mentioned, like Kevin Assess was like a groundbreaking thing for you guys. But what else would you guys want to do as a band? Like, where do you guys want to go?
Coachella.
Honestly, yeah.
No, but yeah, like eventually,
I'd love to play those big ass shows. Coachella, like, dude, that'd be great. Austin City Limits to begin with. You know, like ACL would be cool. And again, like I think we have the potential. I think we do. Right now, I'm in the process of making merch.
Oh, that's the other one. Yeah, like what kind of merch are you guys planning?
So merch. I think the coolest thing about Armadillo is that it's kind of easily marketable. It's Armadillo, you know.
How many armadillos are there?
There's like what, like 3? 4?
I don't know.
There's 9 banded. There's
the 3, I think. 3 banded.
The 3. There's I don't know the third one, but there's a third one for sure. But yeah, merch. For right now, definitely just shirts. I think that's the way everybody should start. I did want to make like ceramics at one point. I thought that would have been cool.
Ceramics?
Yeah, there's a lot of people here, I think, who makes ceramics, like Earth Tones. Alexis, she's on Instagram. She's really cool. I never actually talked to her, but her work is like really cool. And same as Kiki. Kiki, she makes her own ceramics. And yeah, for some reason, I think that it would be so cool to have like a cup of an armadillo. I know, but
with the tea.
Yeah, but that's like maybe later on once I start getting more creative on the merch side. But for now, for sure, shirts.
What would be like your dream design on it?
Right now I'm working with Brian Weston. Shout out Weston. He's fucking amazing. Weston is crazy. Everybody needs to hit him up. He's so good. I'm very, I guess sometimes I could be a little bit too poetic. So like I had this idea about like on the design I had this idea about like comets and like something like cosmic, something like, you know,
space.
Yeah. And for some reason I like at some point like I always like jot down like a lot of like one-liners, like whatnot. And I wrote like something like, there's a connection here, let it stick around. And I was like, dang, I don't know. I was like, why does this speak to me? I was like, I gotta put this on the shirt.
Yeah.
So working with Weston, we worked on something that like has a cosmic image with that line. And yeah, I mean, I'm kind of happy with it. So.
Where did the name Armadillo come from? Because we're gonna get to that one.
Yes. Okay. So Armadillo, my last name is Cedillo, right? And at one point, it was probably like 7th grade, and I had this teacher, I had a substitute, and the substitute was like doing roll call. And then at one point, she was just like, Cedildo? And I was like, no.
You had
Everybody like ran with it immediately. Everybody's like, oh my god, Sedodo. I was like, no, guys, it's Sedillo, like an armadillo. It rhymes. Like, just think of that. And then like I just went with armadillo because it rhymed. To help people pronounce it. And I was like, it works both ways. Sedillo, like, dude, like you don't have to think about it. It's just that's it.
True. I think she just didn't like you, bro.
Dude,
the substitute.
Fuck that substitute.
Pray for your downfall.
She took all away like all of my aura that day. But yeah, that was the reason. And then Armadillo just stuck. It just stuck. And it was it's Texan.
It's funny because like I didn't know that. I always thought it was because your name is Alex.
Yeah.
So it's that like an A and then you're Cedillo, Dillo, Armadillo. I don't know. That's what I thought.
That's what I thought as well.
My brain just straight like went to that, I guess.
Yeah, no, it's just because somebody ruined me that day.
It's usually like that. Don't worry.
So I hate that person. No, I'm kidding. I don't even know who she is. No. Who knows where she's at? Hopefully she's not ruining other people's last names. She probably is.
But she made a sick band name, so
yeah, I mean you gotta give it credit.
It's part of the band lore now.
Yeah, basically. So that's thank you. Where she is.
And I'm hoping you guys make it because there's always a lot of bands here that I see them like they have potential, but like I don't know where that wall is where like it's hard for people to break out. I don't know what it is. It's just we need more bands from the Valley to break out.
I think it's one, right? I think it's persistence. I think that's just something that isn't done enough. I think a lot of times people can maybe get complacent and they probably just won't do more. And I think that's where the failure comes.
How do you think as a band you can like break that complacency?
Honestly, just keep making work and keep putting it out. I think one of the thing is the online, like how much music you actually put on Spotify. I feel like there's so many local bands who don't have their work on platforms.
Yeah, that's
like it's like they're like, oh my god, like put me on the show. But the only thing you have to work on is like a voice recording. It's like, you know, it just doesn't speak.
And it's like how you were saying, like you gotta be on TikTok now, so you really have to have like an online image to like get somewhere. And like there's a lot of bands too that like they locally at least they're successful. But yeah, if you want to break out of that, like play more like out of state shows and everything, you gotta like have a following online. Sadly, that's the world we live in now.
And one thing I will say, the difference also is that Armadillo, I mean, it technically isn't a band because Armadillo is me. Like I've made all the songs. Obviously Armadillo isn't possible without, you know, Bruce and all the others. Like really like when it comes to the band, that's like for the live, to bring in that energy, to bring in a different view. And I think that's one of my biggest differences with bands is the fact that I am not a band. It's the fact that I like it's based on my image. It's based on it's more easily with a band. Also, like another thing is like there's so many different heads bumping with what they want to do. So many people have a different opinion on how to do something. At least in my case, it's a little bit obviously it's easier because it's just me.
And I think that's kind of where we struggled when we were in the band. And not saying that that's a bad thing. I actually
it's just part of what happens in the band. You have multiple people. It's about to happen.
Yeah, that's kind of like what I liked too, because it was like, oh, I had an idea, and then they like were like, oh no, let's do it this way, or like they just added on to that, and I thought that was pretty cool. But yeah, sometimes we just clash, and we're like, oh, like you get stuck in one thing, and like
in those cases, how do you resolve them? Like how is it usually done?
Well, in our case, right, it just didn't resolve.
Yeah, we just kind of like had to like be like kind of like put yourself under and like be like, okay, let's just do it that way.
Yeah, because yeah, like how you say, like I feel like sometimes you would have to bite your your tongue and not say something, like, and not in a way of like they just wouldn't like, you know, like they hate you or anything. There was never like anything bad.
Yeah, there was never anything
but it was just like maybe sometimes more of the band thought in line with that idea, and you were probably the only one that thought a different thing. So it's like you kind of just like, okay, like fine, we'll do that. Maybe the next idea that you pitch is better.
Yeah, because you always hear those stories happening with like national bands, like the very famous bands where, you know, there's creative differences and it's just what it is.
Yeah, and so for that reason, like And don't get me wrong, like there were so many times where like we would make common ground. Like I think the biggest thing, I mean, with any relationship is there's communication and finding that compromise.
Yeah.
So really, like you guys just all need to find that compromise. And obviously, like it works. And honestly, it could have like for me, like I could have stayed in Sycamore. Like it could have, and it probably would have kept going for who knows how long. But to me, I just thought I have my own talent to display. So I felt that I just needed to provide that. Because then if I just stayed in the band, I would have never have been able to prove to myself that I am a producer, that I'm a musician of my own, and I could do all these things. So like I think about Steve Lacy. I mean, his story about being like produced on a phone, like that spoke to me, right? And I was like, if he could produce on a phone, like I could do that. And his songs are super simple too.
Yeah.
And if his songs could be simple, my songs could be simple too. Like like I could do all of that.
Don't they always see that about Tame Impala, like him being like one person?
And so that's how it worked. I felt that I could do it all that, and it was all just it was a challenge for myself, and it was it was to make myself proud. So that was the case with that.
Oh, I hope it all works out in the end, because I see the drive both of you guys have, so I'm really hoping you guys get to it and do it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So I guess I don't want to take up too much of your time, because I know right now it's the Super Bowl. Everybody has their own stuff going on. So is there anything else you want to say? I mean, go for it. Like that we haven't covered yet, and you want to say, right now's the chance to go for it.
You're the main guy. You want
new song on the 20th, the same day of the show.
What?
Merch is coming soon, so keep a look on that.
No way.
Shout out the Real Quasar.
Real Quasar.
Go follow the Real Quasar. If you don't know, you'll know.
He's amazing.
He's amazing. He's a great guy.
It's Quazar.
And yeah, I think that's it. So stick around, and you'll definitely be seeing more of me.
Any other shout outs like for the studio, or that's still going on?
Yeah. Well, it's still not said anything online at least. But yeah, if anything, like if anyone needs like a place to like do something like that, like a podcast or any like practice for bands, I do have a studio here, so you could like hit me up at brucelara_. And yeah, we can like check it out and do some.
Hit him up, guys. Hit him up. It's a great space. He's got waters.
No, it's a very nice area. And I would tell people like if it's right close. It's like a couple of blocks away from the Gremlin and all that stuff. So very close to downtown. It's a perfect area.
Yeah.
I mean, right next to the expressway. What else do you ask for?
It's very centered. Yeah. So
perfect.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Thank you guys for watching this episode. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.
Bye, guys.